the meanwhile, some exciting news as it relates to, something of a historic landmark in Battle Creek and its future. Something called the Hub. Mike McFarlin is here from Firekeeper's Casino Hotel to talk to us a little bit about that, as well as Patty Parker, Interim Executive Director at the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. You hear those things, you start to get the picture here. Good morning, folks. Thanks for coming today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is exciting. This is something that is tentatively called the Hub, or have you decided, Mike, that's going to be the name of it?
Well, it's tentative.
Okay.
We go back and forth with the marketing group to figure out, what's going to be the most, I guess, impactful, name for the project. But it seems every time we turn around to try and look at something, it kind of rotates back to the Hub. So we'll see how things progress.
Well, there's a reason for that, because it would have a number of offshoots, or at least a number of missions that the Hub would feed, pun intended, I guess. But talk about what the vision for this is.
Yeah, well, the vision was to find a building which would be a vehicle for a restaurant, which could create a revenue stream for nonprofits, specifically the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. So I got involved with Patty about a year ago doing some MIF bands and FFI projects, and it's always been kind of a pipe dream in the back of my head to find something you could do with not only leftover food from food service,
mm-hmm.
but how you could reach the community. And in my business, obviously, food is a pretty powerful vehicle. And the more that we started to work together with these different programs, and then I drive past the fire station every day, and I'm
mm-hmm.
thinking, wow, this could work. It's near the Post. It's near Washington Heights.
Right.
It would be a really good central area to look at this. So we plan on opening up a retail bakery that'll have a pizzeria element, Neapolitan pizzas. We also have a back room, which used to be, I guess, a garage of some sort, which is going to be converted into a food pantry for the food bank. And then we're also going to have a garden element out in the plantable area where the fire station is to do sustainable produce to donate to the schools in Battle Creek.
Wow, that is a hub.
Yes.
So the phone rings, Patty, and it's Mike saying, how'd you like some more food in another pantry? And you said?
Oh, anything you want. Chef Mike has been instrumental to the success of a program that we started about a year ago, our Access to Nutrition program. Mm-hmm. So just as he said, his focus is all around food. So is ours.
Right.
And we know food is a social event, but when we start to give out food at some of our fresh food initiatives, people aren't always so social. You can imagine they're not there for good reasons.
Right.
It's a hard time in their lives, and they come and get food. And when we're giving out whole foods, they don't always know what to do with them. So a year ago, we got Chef to help us, and he and his staff actually bring cooked food and recipes using the foods that we're giving out each day to the people, so they get to try it. If they're getting kale, they'll get a smashed potato and kale recipe. They'll get to try it, taste it, see if they like it. We'll have the recipe. We'll have how-tos. They'll get to interact with the chefs. It's really game-changing. It gets people really thinking about what they're actually doing with these whole foods. And then, of course, they can better utilize the farmers markets and the double-up food bucks. It just is a nice circle that keeps going around. So when Chef called and said he had this idea, we were all on board.
And we'll talk more about that game changer in just a minute on WBCK. We're here with Mike McFarlin, Executive Chef at Firekeepers, and Patty Parker with the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. You've been hearing a little bit about the Hub and the concept for that. Is this different, Mike? I mean, casinos tend to focus on their campus, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This is outside of that. Is this new for a casino development like yours?
To my knowledge, I don't think anyone's ever done it.
Okay.
I was so, I won't say shocked, but when I went and presented this to the tribal council, I didn't really think that they were going to be as on board as they were, and it was almost like I was asking for nothing. I mean, they instantly got on board with it, and it's not too often that you can go and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to need $2 million.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to pay you back, and on top of that, there really isn't any financial ROI to this. So I know I've got some sweat equity with the casino. I've been there for over 7 years since before we opened. But every time it amazes me how philanthropic the owners are, and the tribal council and the rest of the execs as far as getting behind community initiatives. And this one was a big ask. And Patty and I talked for months about this, and I said, I think there's a good chance. I don't know. And I went in there, and I'm kind of waiting for the ball to drop, and they're like, well, what else do you need? I'm like, nothing. I'm just going to leave now.
Just the checkbook. That's all right.
And that was almost an afterthought to them. And it's I've been back to a couple of meetings since, and it is one of those things that casinos tend to do a check here and a check there, but to make a physical commitment, and this is beyond just the monetary commitment to the endeavor, but this is a physical community commitment. I mean, we're going to be there. We're going to help and partner with the food bank and with Safe Place and the other charities that are germane to Battle Creek, and not many places do that because it is a significant time investment. I think sometimes it's really easy for people to write a check, but this casino really gets behind the community from a presence and a physicality.
Well, and as you're pointing out, this is the check plus the effort behind it, which we presume is more of a check.
Yeah, I mean it's there's multiple people on the grant side and on the casino side that are involved, the construction, facilities, marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's really on board right now, of course, and the Food Bank of South Central Michigan has been, absolutely phenomenal about their support and partnership.
So how does this affect your day-to-day activities, Patty? You're going to have another location with which to be concerned. How does this fit into your day-to-day operations now?
This is actually something we've been looking for a while. The food bank doesn't actually give out food to the people in need. We have a member agency network across 8 counties, and they do that. We get the food to them. But we've been looking for a way to have a pantry for a couple of reasons. One, to give food out to those in need, but also as a best practice to kind of put together a pantry and tweak different ways that we're providing the food. Way to be innovative in new ideas. And in order to do this, we need that site. And this is the perfect place. It's the perfect partner, and it's going to allow us to develop new things. We do after school packs, but what if we could do teacher packs so that teachers could have snacks to share with the kids in need? What if we could do packs for caseworkers to give out to families in need? Because let's face it, they know the ones who need it better than we do. That's where this innovation can all come together in one place.
Sounds exciting. When we come back in a second, we'll talk a little bit about the concept of what you've put together here in this idea for this building and how you arrived at that and what kind of challenges there might be there. Coming up in just a minute. 8:20. WBCK, Mike McFarlin and Patty Parker, our guests this half hour from Firekeepers and the Food Bank of South Central Michigan. So when obviously you've had this idea for a while, Mike, but when you're thinking about what kind of a freestanding eating establishment would work and also allow for the food bank to be involved, when you consider all of the eateries around, how do you decide, yep, that's the one?
Well, we looked kind of from a need standpoint and kind of a meal period standpoint. We're looking to operate generally for breakfast and lunch. By 6 o'clock, we'll probably be shut down, seeing as we're in somewhat of an industrial area. We wanted to get into some artisan and organic breads, which there's kind of a nice push for. What we want to do mainly is serve healthy food. We want to serve healthy food and promote, I guess, general good health and nutritional education. So we looked at, gluten-free options. We looked at, breads that are using spent grain and some of the other quinoa and spelt and things that are kind of superfoods. And then we also wanted to see what do we think is somewhat lacking in the community. Is there a really good Neapolitan pizza place that you can get, a 900-degree wood-fired pizza? No. There are some good bakeries in the area, but is there a niche for, an artisan bakery? And I think there is. And so we discussed it and kicked it around and kind of came up with this hybrid idea of a retail bakery / there's going to be some really killer breakfast items and there's going to be some really nice lunch items beyond the pizzas. But we wanted things that people could come and get quickly. It's going to be kind of a raucous, warehousey feel to it. And, we really wanted a marriage between the food pantry and the restaurant. So while there's people that are there getting a hand up, picking up groceries from the back, there's people in there buying retail. People will understand and I guess see a little bit more with their eyes open about the need. There's shared bathrooms for both things. So I really think it'll be interesting to see the interaction between different cultures, and hopefully people will be aware of, hey, there's some people out there that need some help, and what can we do to help them? And it may be as simple as on the tip line of your receipt, it's not going to be a tip for the staff, it's going to be a donation, and that will go directly to people in need.
All right. Talk about this building. Now, you had a notion that might be the one. How much work are you going to have to do to it to make it what you need it to be?
From the inside standpoint, not a ton. The stable area and the kind of the apparatus room, it's going to be a big open room. I don't know, 18 or 20-foot ceilings, like a stamped copper ceiling. There's going to be a couple of focal points. The big red pizza oven is going to be one of them. But what we really wanted to do and made a commitment to the owner, Warren Lunn, who owned the building for 25 years, is to preserve the exterior. And it's going to remain and be restored completely to what its original state was in 1904. So we're going to redo the masonry and everything. It's going to look like the beautiful firehouse that it was. And on the inside, we're going to pay a little homage to, Fire Station Number 4. At the same time, we're going to have a lot of subliminal give-backs in there.
Subliminal give-backs. All right.
Yeah.
So can you have it open tomorrow now that we're hungry?
No, I wish. We actually meet, and we have a meeting at City Hall today with some of the city planners. They've been phenomenal and have opened us up to a bunch of different new ideas and possibilities, maybe tying into the bike path and making that a hub for people that are on their bikes. And so we're very excited about Battle Creek's support, and we're looking to really do major construction in the middle of July, and then we're hoping to open the end of October, the latest, the very beginning of November.
All right. We'll be watching and waiting, I'm sure. Patty, how about the food bank these days? School is out, more or less. What does that mean for you? Higher demand, lower demand?
There are a lot more people in need. When we have the school on, of course, kids can have their free breakfast and lunch. In the summertime, that just doesn't happen. We are promoting the summer feeding program, so we're looking for those meet up and eat up spots. But more importantly, we are having more of our fresh food distribution points. So we'll have 4 summer ones starting up on the 17th of this month, and you can look to see some of Firekeepers there because they will be bringing food tasting to many of those.
All right. We'll look forward to it, and we'll stay in touch, all right? And we'll catch up on progress as you go along. That's
Absolutely.
all right. We appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
8:28.